If it was possible to gift you guys with smell-o-vision, I would, because I want y'all to be able to smell how good this lavender smells when it's in full bloom. That's how we're gonna kick off this week's video, is with a quick tour of all the lavender and apparently a feature of maple. Kick off a quick tour of all the lavender that I have. In particular, I want to show you guys the lavender that I had to transplant out of this flower bed back in, I don't know, when was that, like January? That I had to take a bunch of lavender out of here just because it was getting eaten up by the other kinds of lavender. I didn't space it correctly, didn't place it correctly. Very typical for me to not really think things out like that. But we moved it, and I didn't really expect it to come out of that or survive that treatment. They are doing so good. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick update on all the lavender, what it's doing right now. As a reminder, I'm in north central Texas. I'm like an hour north of Waco. And I think that most people who garden in Texas get fed some kind of lie. Oh, stop. Get fed some kind of lie that they can't grow lavender here. You absolutely can. I do happen to be blessed, or cursed, however you want to look at it, with extremely rocky soil. I live on a huge limestone formation out here in Hill County, and that may help some with the lavender, but for the most part, I have been able to kill all the lavender that I've ever purchased except for 2 varieties. So I tend to showcase those 2 quite a bit because I don't want everybody to be wasting their money on the kinds of lavender that either don't come back year to year or really suffer in our summers or in our rainy seasons, which is spring, which is very quickly coming to a close. It was 100 degrees this week. Let's start here with this little row of super blue that I have. They go from here all the way over to here. And to give you an idea, this is this one's 2nd year in the ground. This is not going to be full size for this plant. It will continue to grow. I want to say the tag says something like they top out at 18 inches. I haven't found that to be true. I found that they get much bigger. In fact, I feel like with our heat, most lavender varieties will get quite a bit bigger than the tag. That and our winters are very mild, so their foliage is not being knocked back quite as hard as some other kinds of lavender will if you are up in the colder climates, like maybe y'all in the panhandle. It won't get quite as big, but this super blue is such a winner, you guys. When our rainy season hits and it just rains and rains and rains and rains, and my brain is thinking like, okay, well, that lavender is gonna die. It doesn't. It just gets better. It is such a good plant. I have found this fairly reliably up at Greens Produce and Plants, which is over in Arlington, the Pantego area, Arlington. That's really the only place that I have found it over and over again. And it's just, this is such a good plant, you guys. You can cut it back after it flowers and then pretty much leave it alone, maybe shape it up in the fall. Other than that, very low maintenance plant. It smells incredible just when you're walking by it. Let me show you all this one more time because it is kind of a success story in my opinion. This and this are the same plant, right? This is a phenomenal variety of lavender. You can see it is starting to bloom, and they have bred phenomenal to withstand higher heat and humidity. So this is a really good choice. I've heard from several people in the Houston area that this phenomenal variety of lavender does really well for them. So if it can survive in Houston, I mean, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and get this bad boy. But if you look down here in the center, you can see that I have cut into this plant really hard. This is one piece of it. There goes another piece right there. And this piece is laying over here, this agave. It's even going back in there with that yucca. But the center of this lavender died because I wasn't diligent enough about cleaning up all this leaf litter off of it, which is my bad. And you're told not to cut into the wood of the lavender plant because it has the potential to severely damage and kill it. It does not recover well when you cut it into the wood, but the whole center of this thing was brown and dead. And it was either take a chance and cut the middle out or take this entire plant out. And this is one of the oldest lavender plants that we have. Look at that. That might actually be the completely dead part. Let me pull on it. I'm probably gonna find a snake under here in just a second. Whoops, there it came. Okay, that's part of the dead part. So you can see how big that was, how old this lavender plant was, but it was just kind of rotting in the middle. So we cut most of it out. That's obviously a dead part that I cut out and just didn't pick up. But we cut the middle out of it and just hope for the best. And it has obviously rebounded really well. You can see that darker foliage in there. That's fresh green growth. So success story on this, phenomenal. And I can't wait to see it in full bloom. It looks so good with that Zexmania back there, that yellow. These transplants that I'm about to show you guys what they're looking like now after like 4 months post-transplant were tucked in with some phenomenal. So phenomenal on the tag, I want to say that the phenomenal tags say like 3x3, maybe 4x4. Either way, they're much bigger in my garden than what the tag says. And it was like smothering these little super blue English lavenders that I had right next to it. Let me show you where I took them from so that you don't have to go back and look at that video. They were like right there. Look at this monster. This thing is huge. Hold on, let me show you so you can get like a comparison. I don't know, does that give y'all any kind of perspective on how massive this thing is? Huge, absolutely huge. And I never expected it to get this big, but I'm so happy that it did. It's really good height for this area of the flower bed. It's kind of towards the front. But I had a super blue over there, some super blues back here. This was smothering them. They weren't getting enough sun, they weren't getting enough airflow, and we ain't having that with lavender. That will kill it quick if they don't have good sun or airflow. And this plant has kind of splayed open, which is fine because it's starting new growth in the center. That's another phenomenal, which has just been having a really, really good year. I don't know how long it will survive being crowded out by those two salvias right there, but we'll definitely be giving it this year. Oh my gosh, y'all. These soapberry seedlings. Ugh. Anyway, I transplanted 3 of them in like several months ago, cut them back really hard, popped them out, put them in the ground. Luckily for me and this lavender, it's been a very wet spring so far. That settles in a transplant really, really well when it rains continuously. Even a lavender, like, haven't even been worried about it. I've been worried about the more established ones, but as far as these guys, all that rain, I was like, yes. And they are having such a good year over here because they're getting more sun and they're getting more airflow. So they have been putting on just the most incredible show of blooms so far this spring. Here's one of them. Isn't she gorgeous? Here's another. She's doing great. You can see where all that new growth is coming from this year. These gorgeous flowers. She ain't done yet. She's got more coming. So beautiful. So happy with this one. However, this third one looks the best, I think. Look at her. Her shape is beautiful. I mean, I really don't think that she could be blooming any harder if she tried. Stunning. Weed. 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 Weeds. Can't help it. One more beautiful thing, because I can't not mention this. She's looking so good, like a work of art. Look at her. Oh my goodness. This is a gladiolus. Maybe like her 3rd year to come back. If I let go, she's gonna fall over, but I want to get a close up on these petals. How beautiful is she? This is the area that we're going to be working in today, because I need to fill in this space. And it just so happens that I have some grasses that I grew from seed that like must get out of their containers very soon. And it's going to rain this weekend, so it's a great time to be doing this. And this flower bed needs something right here, and they're going to bloom pink. I'll show you all the seed packet. I had really good luck with growing this particular grass from seed, and this should be a pleasure, because this is an almond verbena and it's in bloom, and it smells so good. Talk about a bee magnet, y'all. If you ever see an almond verbena, they're not very common. Get it. If you see it, get it. Okay, these are the grasses that we need. Put it with its friends over here. That lantana out of here. I think that's everybody. Is that everybody? These are all little blue stem. Oh, let me update y'all on those propagations that we did a couple of videos ago. I did a video on propagating Greg's Mistflower, autumn sage, and rosemary. Let me get y'all balanced here. Anyway, these are how they're looking. Much better than they were looking like a week ago, to be honest. They were looking kind of rough, but that's very typical for transplants. Let's see if we have any root activity. Hey, look, we have roots already on this autumn sage. How stinking cool is that? Oh, we definitely have roots on that. Look, roots. Oops, it would help if I put it like in the camera. Roots. How cool. Oh, that's definitely going to have roots all in it. Roots. Roots. Nice. Very cool. Very exciting. I don't know about these. These are dogwood cuttings. I don't see anything apparent on the bottom. We can do a little test and tug on it. I'm feeling some resistance. So that's a good way to test. If you have cuttings, you're not sure if they've rooted and you can't see anything. Do y'all see that? That worm moving in there? Isn't that funny? There's already worms living in there. You can tug on it, and if you meet some resistance, then you likely have some root setting. But I don't want to do what I just did with these, because these take a little bit longer. These are roughly dogwood cuttings. These take a little bit longer to root, and I don't want to disturb their rooting process by dumping them out into my hand like that. It might mess them up, and I have high hopes for those. I really want them to root. I know that these all root really easily. I'm not sure if we have roots on this rosemary or not. I kind of doubt it. They take a little bit longer. Oh, we do. Look. There's roots already. What a successful propagation day that was. How many free plants did we make that day? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Y'all had probably counted that before I did, but you know, I have an English degree, so it takes me some time. As these props kind of grow, especially this Mistflower, I'm going to pinch them because I want them to be bushy. So I'm just going to pinch these tops out. And yes, as I'm pinching them, I am thinking about propagating the pinched off parts, but I'm going to control myself because we have other stuff to do today. Anyway, this grass that we're going to plant today is a variety called Savannah. That's what the blooms look like, pink. And according to the seed packet, these will bloom all season. Let me show you all the seed packet. Okay, I can't find the seed packet because of this. And if this is giving like mad scientist, that's because it is mad scientist vibes in here. I obsess over propagating in the winter and spring. So this is what my potting shed looks like. This is my propagating space. It is cuckoo bananas, and I can't find that seed packet, so I will describe it for you. It's a grass seed called Savannah. I got it from rareseeds.com, and it is only hardy down to zone 9, so I'm probably not going to see this again next year, but that's okay. They're already starting to bloom, and they will get like 2 feet tall if you include the blooms. Okay, let us take our grass and we'll go plant them up. Alrighty, like I showed y'all, there's the bloom on one. Here, I'll show you where else I have this planted because I had such good germination on it that I had so many. I had to put them out in one place already, and those are the ones I have left over there in that flat. This is where I put them others. You can see there's 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is little blue stem, but I figured I'd mix these in because I wanted the purple and the blue. I figured those would set each other off good. So that's where they're at currently. And we'll test them out over here also, because if these do good this summer, I will absolutely buy that seed again. Like I said, the germination was excellent, excellent. And they've been very just unfussy, kind of just hanging out. They've been hanging out in these little 4-inchers for months at this point. And they've just been handling it like a champ, even blooming. Sometimes you can start things from seed and they really resent being stuck in their pots for week after week and month after month. So if this is a good tough grass and it's pretty, heck, can't argue with that. I think I would like that, just like that. The seed packet says drought tolerant, but y'all know as well as I do that sometimes drought tolerant for some is not going to include how dry and hot it is here in Texas, where it's just very, very severe. So I am going to put these on the drip just to see what happens. If they don't like it, I can always take it off, but I don't want to come out here in like a month's time and find them fried. They're in the ground. Look at how cute they are. These should just barely touch. I just love that. I'm very excited for these. Very, very excited for these. I will be sure to keep y'all updated as things really heat up, because summer's just starting, y'all. Things are about to get real. Okie dokie. He's got so much hair, it makes him so sad when it's hot. So sad. Good boys. Just kidding. I don't really think that anything could make Okie sad. Good boys. I'm gonna get these hooked up on the drip. Oh wait, let me do one more thing before I let y'all go. This is a sweet potato vine that I overwintered the tubers, and last summer it did not look like this. It reverted over the summer. It used to be a gorgeous variegated Ipomoea, but something about storing the tubers over the wintertime, the variegation has not returned, but that's okay. It is growing so vigorously. Now is the time to propagate it. So I'm going to come in here and take several of these off, put them in water, because I have a few other areas in my garden where this Ipomoea would look really, really good. If we put these in water, We'll have roots here in like a week or two. Hold on, let me get a couple. It's hard to do this one-handed. I have several here, and I'm going to trim them down even further. So what you're looking for is a leaf node. A node is where new growth is likely to emerge, right? So like, that's a node, that's a node, this is a node, and I can probably get 2 out of this. So I'm going to cut here. Remove those. This is going to go down in the water. Remove those. That's going to go down in the water. And we can discard these leaves. Here's another one. That's probably just, that's a one-off. It's not really long enough. Here's a nice big long one. Cut it in half. Remove the bottom leaves. We don't want the leaves in the water. Take these off. Yeah, we'll probably just leave that as one. We'll leave that as one. And we'll do 2 on this one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll go put these in a jar of water. And you can't even hardly tell I came and cut anything off of this, but it did lighten the load off of that lantana just a little bit. I'm gonna get after my chores. I'll see y'all next time.